All right, so which one do you pick? Who do you like? Um,
This is my
that
red, blue, or
put you on the
yellow.
spot.
I mean, I think it's hilarious that they make it so that like Aqua. I mean, she's always showing her bare ass.
Ass.
But like Kazuba is like not attracted to her at all, and like, I think it's in one of the OVAs or something where he's like, I thought about it, and I sniffed your hair when we were living in the stable, and nope, not attracted to you in the slightest. Hello and welcome to another damn anime podcast. My name is Nick and I will be your host. Here with me is my good buddy Joe. And Joe, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right, man. Yeah, it's been a good week. Caught up on a lot of anime and started some new stuff, but we are going to be talking about one specific one for this show, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So I a few weeks ago, about 4 weeks ago, I think, I told you that I was going to watch all of one particular show. That show being Konosuba. I have
You
since
mean after I berated you for trying to watch the spinoff without watching the rest of it? But yeah,
I do have some words to say about the spinoff. But what I will say is that I did go ahead and finish season one, two, the OVAs, and the movie of Konosuba, and I have to admit that you're right. It is a very good it is a very good show. I was pleasantly surprised by how good this show is. It was very easy to watch, basically from the jump. And so since I finished it, and then you had watched the movie not too long ago, and kind of going through some of the stuff, I thought it'd be a good time for us to maybe go a little deeper into it and express our joys and opinions of this show.
yeah, for sure, man. And funny fact is, I'm also rewatching season one all over again as well because my spouse has not gotten a chance to watch season one or any of it. So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and watch this. Uh, we were thinking about playing the TRPG that you can buy. They translated the book into English, and so a buddy of mine was like, "Yeah, because watching the new spin-off and mentioned this, and we're like, you know what? Let's get a game going." So that got us into the book, and then I'm like, well, all right. In order for my wife to understand the world better, I'm like, you got to watch at least season one. So we've been slowly working our way through that. I think we're at like episode six now. So at least that part is fresh in my mind, and of course the movie. Which, funny enough, I watched the movie after the first six episodes of the new spinoff,
Hmm.
which is the perfect time to do that because that's the episode like after she leaves the village after that episode, and then when you're watching the movie, you meet all the villagers, which technically that'd be the first time a viewer, like if you watched it as they were releasing, you would not know any of the villagers until that movie. And but this way, for me personally, since I'm watching that spinoff, I'm like, oh, I already know all of them, and so it's easier for me to reference them in my brain.
Yes, they
So
since you're saying they expanded more on those side character villagers in the third season, whereas in the movie they kind of just show them and then like run through and sort of just like leave it as is.
yeah, and
Okay.
the good thing you did watch the movie because apparently the official season three is supposed to take place after the movie.
Okay.
So it literally goes to season two, the movie, then season three official.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I had no idea until I was reading about it. I think today or yesterday. I think it was today. I was reading about it, and I was like, "Wait, there's a season three coming." So, yeah, like I think May of last year they announced it, so it should be. I figured it'd be around the corner here soon, but so that's exciting. But kind of just going back to season one, starting this show, I was kind of like, well, I know what's going on in season three a little bit. It is a little bit confusing, but I know the feel of that show and sort of what they're sort of saying. At least I felt like I did. And then going back to season one, I was like, okay, so this is a totally, I don't know, it felt like a totally different thing to start until the character of Megumin came in, but that was a little ways into into the show, at least a little ways into that first or second episode. But yeah, so it kind of starts out as like a normal, a normal isekai, killed by by Trokusan, and then it quickly takes a turn where he figures out a loophole to bring the goddess that is supposed to reincarnate him to bring her with him to this new world. And whenever that happened, I was like, okay, this show has something extra going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very good job about, messing with the genre itself because, at first yeah, he's a shut-in type character who then
Yeah.
automatically you think he's about to jump in front in order to save a girl. Turns out he not only didn't save the girl, he made a fool of himself because there was a tractor going like 5 miles an hour
Oh
and some
yeah.
old grandpa.
I forgot it's a tractor.
Turns out, and then so the slow tractor killed me. No, the slow tractor didn't kill you. In fact, you wet yourself and they took you to the hospital and you died of embarrassment, more or less. Like
Oh
um, they just completely mess with all the tropes.
yeah.
And they end up, like and so that's why the goddess comes along because they're like, yeah, you could pick anything. So like a gamer takes his sweet time looking over all the things he could possibly get, isekai'd with, and because the goddess is an ass, she's like, "Yeah, fine, okay, I choose you, and it's approved by the higher ups.
She's like, no,
Eh,
no. And then he ends up being able to take her down. So the goddess is Aqua. And that's important, I guess, going forward because she's the goddess of water and like healing and like anti-zombie or whatever.
well, because she has light spells. She's a
Yeah.
priest. She's an archpriestess. And she's the leader of the Axis sect. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just funny because uh his stats are, it's like, oh, you're isekai, so you're going to be OP, right? He's like, nope, he has higher than normal intelligence, and he has massively high luck, which don't mean jack. And then hers is all her stats are just killer, except for she's really dumb.
Yeah.
So she's she's really lower than normal on intelligence, and her luck is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they do a fantastic job of all of these characters, but especially these first two, Kazuma and Aqua, of making them really relatable, and they're really stupid and funny, and they can't really do anything, but they still like they can't really do anything alone, but they can kind of do everything by accident, sort of together. But yeah, so pretty quickly, it's got to be in what that is it the first episode or the second episode where they meet the other two characters, the other two main characters.
Megumin's episode 2, Darkness is 3, I believe.
Okay, yeah, so they come into they meet Megumin in episode two, and like those, I mean, I'm sure everyone familiar with the show will know that I think you put it really well last time that she is an archmage that can only do one spell, and that's explosion. And then after that, she's like completely useless. And the way they show her the first time that she uses that spell in the show, where she like uses it, and then Kazuma looks back, and she's just face planted on the grass, sliding slowly down the hill. Oh man, it's a hilarious running joke, and they just beat it to death, but it never gets old for some reason. They just keep finding ways to make it funny.
No, yeah, super glass cannon for sure. And it's just no, it's pretty funny. It's a good character setup. Uh, it's so you haven't watched any of the anything about Chunibios, so it's a little harder if you don't know what a Chunibyo is. It's kind of makes Megumi's character slash her entire clan a
Yeah.
little harder to understand. So a Chunibyo being someone who likes to like it's middle school disease essentially. It's when you like to play pretend and if someone were to try to in the middle of classroom try to do a Dragon Ball like Kami wave, uh, and legitimately try it, that's or like someone tried to just actually cast a magical spell or do some sort of uh ninjutsu Naruto thing, like in real life in front of other people. That is a Chunibyo essentially. Someone who is caught up in a make believe realm and they LARP, but not with other LARPers, but like by themselves.
They
Um,
they're not even cool enough to LARP with other people. They're stuck
so
in
her
that.
village is that. Her village is a bunch of people who essentially rule number one is like they is aesthetics. You know, like you have to have a cool intro, and that's why everyone is the top of whatever or the number one, the most supreme something or other. Like the most badass tailor, even though there's no one else to be there's no other tailor in the city, you know. So that's kind of their mentality, and that's why Megumin is like she's like, yeah, you know what? Like, that's why they make fun of her name too, because the names are strange. And it's one of those things that it translates better, especially with kanji, because it
Yeah,
looks weird and it's a very popular thing now. Or it became more popular to be like, I'm gonna give my kid a weird, like a normal sounding name, but with the most ridiculous kanji because it's like, and it means like justice or something like that. I'm like, I'm gonna make my kid live up to these stupidly lofty ideals. um but yeah, so it's like that's that when she introduces her name, that's why they're like, you're joking, right? And then she's like, well, your parents' name, and she gives their names, and they're like, don't you make fun of my parents' name? Everyone, like, to me, all your names are weird. So our names are normal. So it's one of those things that it doesn't translate very well. So you have to kind of know base material to
yeah,
a certain extent, but everything else does a really good job converting.
yeah. So in the next episode, we get introduced to the meat shield, the third character of the third of the three girls characters, and the fourth character overall, a a blonde paladin esque knight named Darkness. And yeah, she is a strange one. She is. It's quickly revealed that she becomes
She's a
aroused.
masochist.
Yeah, she's a masochist, but she also becomes aroused by being beat up and like taking damage, and she also can't hit anything with her sword to save her life. So like all she really is good for is like taking hits, which fortunately she really likes to do a lot, but it's also sort of depraved and ridiculous.
Yeah, and as Kazuma keeps on saying, like they're all a bunch of freaks. Um, you know,
That's funny
he's like
because
he's
because
turning her down. She's like, "Can I join your party?" No, and she's like, "So quick." She's getting turned on for the fact that she's getting shot down so quickly and coldly
which
from him.
I mean, which is like real rich because like in that first OVA, they like it's I won't tell exactly like what it's about right now, but it is basically um, Kazuma being depraved and making them all do like semi-sexual acts for him in order to basically save him, and they just like keep talking about how depraved and ridiculous he is. But I mean, at least Darkness is pretty messed up in the erotic realm, to say the least. But anyway, it's a standing motif that they are all sort of depraved, and
They're a broken party all
they
around.
they are.
No one's a normal person. I
Oh
mean,
man.
it's clearly stated in episode one that Cosmo forgets what his actual goal is and then quickly falls into the I'm gonna be a normal construction worker, and that's so I'm gonna make my living. And I love how they actually live in a
Yeah, I forgot
physical
about that.
stable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they do that. They do that like in the first episode is they just like work for like a long time.
They're manual laborers for like weeks, So
Yeah,
yeah, they eat, sleep, drink, and then it's like they get nothing accomplished in life,
I,
and then he
I
gets angry about it, but yeah, he's still doing it.
I love how
Yeah,
Aqua will like always call him like a neat, or he'll just like you just be like shut up neat, or or the others will refer to him as as Kazu trash, or like different like names, like different like horrible names, offshoots of his real name. Man, it is hilarious. But he like they do a really good job of making the characters like really differentiated and all have their specific roles and all funny in their own ways. It's
yeah.
pretty fantastic. But yeah, I didn't realize that the OVAs were like special episodes. I thought they were just like kind of rehashes of what already happened. So thankfully,
Mostly OVAs are usually special features of like DVDs. So
okay, yeah,
that's why traditionally they were always the swimsuit episode,
ah,
or like something like that. That was a very common thing. So
that
like
tracks. Okay,
what's the fan service we can give to customers for buying our merch, essentially.
yeah, that encourage that that extra purchase. Um, yeah, so I didn't I hadn't watched them yet, and you were like you should watch them, and so I did. And they are definitely worth it. They're definitely pretty good, especially that first one I really liked a lot. But yeah,
That says a lot about you. All
it's
right.
just hilarious, man. It's just like it's just so funny. Like I think like I laughed out loud like really hard at one of the jokes toward the end there. Um, anyway, but you know, I really thought season one was super strong. Season two, I felt like starts pretty strong, but and it goes places. But overall, I liked season one a bit more. I think it was maybe the novelty a bit. But how did you feel about the difference in the two seasons? At
All right,
least the
so it's
first
been a
two.
hot minute since I saw season two. One thing I do have to admit though is the animation quality is stunning for this series. At least especially in season one, early on, the quality of the spells, the artwork, the fluidity, like it's Karakawa, the book company slash
Yeah.
studio, and I forget who's actually the studio who's doing the animation for it. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's like like whenever you see Megumin doing like or anyone doing the chants, you can actually see like just the vibrancy of color and the effort. I actually do like the character modeling. It's different and it's not your standard character design, I guess. Uh, so, season one, I'm trying to remember how season one ends because all right, so more spoiler territory. Obviously, we're doing a whole thing about these seasons. So, but anyways, what's the big battle towards the end of season one?
That
Because right now they already fought the Doulahan, and like halfway through season one, which was a great bit, especially with blowing up the castle, and then Cosmo slowly being like, I was able to determine an appreciation for the explosions, and like I can like that one had a really good one. It's like I love how I had a loud boom, and it's like the wind just grazed my face, and it didn't like do too much force. And it's just like he started like being a connoisseur of that. I don't know, it was just silly, but
the
it was hilarious.
yeah, that part is like a montage of like her just like of Megumin just blowing up the castle like over and over and over again, and every time she does she just collapses like face plants on the ground. It's so funny. Yeah, so
And it's like,
that
"Yeah, sometimes we'll even have a picnic, or like if it rained, and and I would
it's
always
very
carry her back.
it's very cute. It is a very cute little like thing of them kind of getting to know each other and hanging out and stuff like that. Um, the Doulahan that's the guy with that carries his helmet, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was the end of season one. Maybe
Um,
I
it
guess I'm
could have been.
wrong.
So then, is the season two the mobile fortress?
Uh maybe season one is Mobile Fortress. Yeah, I think so. Because season two has to do with them going to the hot springs and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I forgot about the mobile fortress. Yeah, that's probably that. Um, but yeah, anyway,
So yeah, season one's pretty fun. Season two, once again, it's harder. It kind of all blurs into
it
into
does.
my
Yeah,
memory because that's is it season two where they introduce Wise, um,
Union.
the other the undead general or one of the demon lord generals who ends up becoming the pharmacist.
I don't know. I don't know.
She's long brown hair, busty character.
I mean, she was in
They
the movie.
she's in the series too.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed it.
Yeah,
Really?
that's when the first. I think season two is probably where you. I thought season two is where you first meet um
I could have sworn.
Megumin's childhood friend Union.
Well, Union. Yeah, Union is in, but I thought you were talking about the bad guy in the movie.
Yeah, no, it's Wise is she's one of the Demon Lord generals who runs the pharmacist. Um,
Okay.
she ends up then you see I can't remember the villain, the guy with the mask, the black and white
Oh,
mask.
yeah, he's a lot of season two as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, so that's
it's
but
all
so I
running
can't remember
together.
where Wise comes in if she's in season one or if she's in the end of season one or if she's in season two. She might be the end of season one.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
It's been so long. So yeah, it's an I was hoping you take the lead on this one. But yeah, no, season one is most memorable for me.
Oh, yeah, I forget. They pronounce her name strangely. Yeah, Wise. Yeah, she's in season one. She's pretty early on, I think. But
Because I'm
yeah,
halfway through, haven't met her yet on the rewatch, and so I remember her being. I thought she was part of the Mobile Fortress attack, and if that's still season one yet, and
yeah,
then season two is the hot springs, but that's also the dude with the mask who ends up like chilling with them later on as well. Um, and he's in the movie,
yeah,
and I'm what
yeah. He was. I think what's his name? Is his name Vanier? Yeah.
all right,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Vanner is the guy with the masks. His whole arc was pretty hilarious in season two, and his whole stuff with darkness, and her secret history, her embarrassing past, embarrassing family stuff, is pretty good. But yeah, so yeah. Wise is pretty important in season, like whenever she comes along, and then up until the movie and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah. In general, I felt like season one was a little bit more entertaining. I think it was because it was a bit newer, but season two definitely had a lot of high moments, and weirdnesses and stuff like that. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good to say the least. Um,
yeah. And then you ended up what do you think of the movie then? Because it's, the that one like it did a good job about having a couple different points to it. Like a little, the beginning was different enough because it kept on showing. I love how they keep on bringing back the old guy who was also Isekai, who ended up being the scientist who created the golems and stuff like that, and he created like a lot of the monsters, and he created the mobile fortress. So that dude keeps. They just find a way to bring him back like all the time.
Yeah, yeah. The reveal for that, I think that was in the OVA, the for season two, where they discover that like they're doing this mystery thing, and they discover the guy they're doing the mystery on is the same as the one, as same as the guy that or maybe it was in the movie. Was it in the movie where where they discover that the guy that made the mobile fortress is the same one that
I,
yeah, it had to be that because he traps her in there. But yeah, anyway, so you're right. They do a really good job of bringing him back and kind of making that reveal, call back to season one, and it's pretty hilarious. It also kind of wakes Kazuma up to sort of the slowness with which he is progressing through that world, and but it also shows that he still has heart. But yeah, I like the movie a lot. I thought there was a lot of good animation in it, a lot of good action and stuff like that. It was also pretty hilarious. And it introduced a good bad guy, um, and had a good way to resolve that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so the OVA, the second OVA was the one where they go to fight the dungeon, and the guild member was or the secretary was able to fit, to essentially play off of Cosmo's ego about looking cool in front of the new members.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like you're good. Like it's like, oh, since you're so strong, you can easily accept this quest, right? And so he goes like, yeah, sure. And he goes off to the dungeon and fight. Like they have to defeat the giant robot. And Megumi's like, I can't destroy it. It looks too cool because it's essentially just a giant, like, old anime robot. And he's like, that's not a golem. That's a straight up robot. And then they find out that he's made that scientist who made the mobile fortress made the robot, but also as like my goal is to make the perfect robot female, whatever, like maid or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that, companion. And then he's like, as he's going through stuff, turns out I'm a huge masochist,
Because I'm a
Yeah,
dirty
that's
boy or something like that. Yeah.
oh that dude is yeah, his character is just weird as hell, but it's funny because they like I said they bring him back a couple times and then they bring him in for the movie for the having created the whole the Demon Clan. Like the whole they explain the history of them as a unit, which is pretty funny. And they're like, yeah, in case we get too strong, we need to have a countermeasure so you can destroy us. It's like, and they all chose to do that. Like, and he's like, you know what? Because at first I thought their attitude was really annoying, but I'm kind of digging their whole vibe now.
Yeah. He just kind of like he just sort of like well, I forget the term, but kind of just plays along. It's like, all right, you guys want to do that? And they're like really hardcore. He's like, okay, I guess that's fine. And just goes along with it. But yeah, that is a pretty good turnaround. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of digging what they're doing. But overall, it's pretty good. I'm actually really excited for the official third season. The offshoot with Megumin. I need to catch up on that. I think I'm only 3 or 4 episodes into that, so I'll watch that now. But I'm excited to see what they end up doing with a season 3 of the official mainline series. Um, could end up being pretty funny. I hope. I don't know. Like I hope they bring up back the same cast. I'm not sure if they are. But I wonder how far the books go because there's like because these are based off of
Light novels, yeah.
light novels, and then I think there's a manga adaptation. I think. So I kind of wonder how far they've gone as far as the official stories go. If they're done or if they still have 1 or 2 seasons worth of material left.
I think they can easily reach and grab more. I'd never look into the light novels just because that's too much effort.
Yeah,
That's
indeed.
that's just to be completely blunt and honest on that. But yeah, it's just this is a solid series. I'm glad you actually went ahead and went through with it. Megumin, the side story arc that's going on right now is all right. I'm enjoying it. It's not as laugh out loud as like season one is, but at the same time, it's still super charming, and you understand the characters a bit more
Yeah,
because I remember I think it was just when they first introduced Union. I'm like, wait a minute, I think they might have even done it in one of the. No, I don't think they. I can't remember if it was the first OVA or not, but I just remember seeing them. I'm like, wait, am I supposed to know who this is? They kind of introduced kind of bluntly, and
yeah. She does come out of the
you know,
blue, but she is in that first OVA.
yeah, that might be where they first show her, and I missed the first OVA. I just went from season one to season two, and so that might be why.
Maybe.
Uh, and yeah, so it's kind of funny though because well, you haven't seen up to date with the side story,
Yeah.
but was it? Oh no, Komeko, the younger sister,
Mm.
Megumin's younger sister. There's a joke. There's like a side joke in the community apparently that she's like the strongest character full stop because she like kill steals, and so
That's funny.
Yeah, because like the final battle in the movie, she goes ahead and fires the weapon, even
Oh
though like Cosmo's trying to make this big like
yeah.
sounding cool like
uh,
catchphrase, and she just goes boop.
she just pulls the trigger
So
on the gun. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
and
man.
so I'm like, I don't know, way to steal the show there, kid. And but yeah, it's a good show. It's pretty funny, and I think it holds up pretty well.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, especially if you want something that's, kind of a parody, or of the genre because there's so many isekai stories and so many like yeah, you don't necessarily need to see the hero all the time. They have they have that traditional character Kyoya Mitsurugi, and he is another reincarnated kid who's like he's like, yeah, I want this sword that only I can use, and it's going to be the hero sword. And so when they finally meets Cosma, like I think it's when when they first introduce themselves. Like Darkness is like just either about to join the party, she's trying to, or she just did. Uh, but they end up taking a mission where they need to purify a lake, and there's these alligators nearby, and so they're like, "Oh, here's a way to protect her from the alligators, and she can still purify it, but she has to be in the lake to purify it." So they put her in a cage, and
Yeah.
these alligators
Just
are just
ever.
biting the crap out of the cage. She's getting traumatized, um, and so she's like, "I don't want to leave the cage. It's safe in here." And she starts singing this like sad song, and he happens to come across her like, "Release the goddess," um, and then it challenges
Breaks
Kazuma
the.
to a duel. And he's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. This high level dude with a super sword and all this armor tries to challenge a low level nobody like me, and that's supposed to be fair? And so the moment the duel, before he even gets to finish like challenging the duel, he just jumps him and like knocks him out.
Yeah.
Uh, and then pawns the sword, you know?
Yeah.
So that's such a great move. But yeah, they do a very good job of just playing with the genre. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It is
Uh,
a show that's worth going back for. That first season came out in 2016, and then the next season I think was 17, and the movie was 19. So, and they've had OVAs and stuff like that in between, but from 19 to 23, it's 4 years, and then the next one's going to come out hopefully in 24 or maybe later this year. Who knows? But so it's running a long time. I a lot of shows like this kind of get left behind, especially when they're that old. But this one has, I guess, had a quiet but loyal following, and I am one of those followers now, and it is worth. I can say that it's worth going back for if you're on the fence. Go ahead and go watch the first couple, the first season, second season. Just watch all of it. There's not too much, and it's definitely worth it.
yeah, so what I've seen is it was originally slated for 2023 release for season 3.
Okay.
No other information really given upon that. Uh, so if we're lucky, it'll hit sometime in the fall, but at the same time, uh, with delays in a lot of anime fronts, I wouldn't be surprised to get pushed to next year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you never know, but yeah. So I just want to do a quick rundown of the whole series, a little bit of a spoiler cast here, and talk about it because we both were kind of watching it um, recently. It was worth a chat, but yeah. So thanks, Joe, for joining me on this, and I think that's gonna do it for us here today on another damn anime podcast. We'll see you next time.
y'all take care.
Bye.
Talking, so I'm like, all right. So which one do you pick? Who do you like?
It's my red, blue, or
Put you on
yellow.
the spot.
I mean, I think it's hilarious that they make it so that like Aqua, I mean, she's always showing her bare ass.
Ass.
But like Kazuma is like not attracted to her at all. And like, I think it's in one of the OVAs or something where he's like, I thought about it and I sniffed your hair when we were living in the stable, and nope, that attracted you in the slightest. And she's just like really pissed off, and he's making all the other girls like, dude, depraved sexual acts, and
No, that's OVA one with the collar. Yeah.
yeah, he keeps making her go get a sandwich or whatever, and she's just like so pissed about it. Oh man, it is so funny. But yeah, I don't know. They all have their merits. I'll say that.
The succubus episode is kind of classic as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh man, that is like that's freaking hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's